What's up, guys? Welcome to Among the Fins, my YouTube channel where I do music reviews. My name is Aaron, and today we're going to be checking out the new album Dark Sun by the band Dayseeker. It has been 3 years since they released their album Sleep Talk, which was my first time listening to the band thanks to a request that I got. It's also their fourth studio album, so I had quite a bit of fun going back and listening to their older stuff and hearing how they evolved over the years. However, Sleep Talk has always been kind of my favorite since it's the first thing I listened to, and it's always been in my rotation over the past 3 years. Its themes are very personal and rather sad, which blends pretty well with their post-hardcore sound to say. So when I heard that they were coming out with a new album, Dark Sun, I was pretty excited. I wanted to hear what powerful emotions they were going to bring to the surface in this one. The album opens up with the song Dream State, which is extremely personal about frontman Rory Rodriguez's experiences dreaming about his father who passed away about a year ago, and it really sets the tone for the whole album because it's basically what it's going to be about. It starts off feeling like it's in a dreamlike state with a colorful keyboard part. It becomes really vulnerable in the verses as just drums and vocals. However, the keyboard and all the synth and guitar and stuff come back in the chorus as the passion starts to pick back up again. The bridge sees his frustrations as he wakes up and realizes that his interactions with his father weren't real. It's very touching, very sad. And then we go into probably my favorite song on the album, which is Neon Grave. It touches on his father's battle with cancer. It opens up with a dynamic riff, really powerful drums, and fantastic sounding vocals in the verse. And the pre-chorus is just beautiful in every single way. In the chorus, you see him begging for his dad to come back because life without him is hell. And the breakdown is intense. It's just this big old wall of sound that comes at you. And as far as the meaning of most of these songs, I'm pretty much taking a shot in the dark here and guessing and kind of just having my own take as how I interpreted the songs. For instance, I believe that the song Without Me is about a romantic partner who they're no longer together anymore, and he's basically asking, like, are you sad without me? As in the line he says, how do you feel the same without me? It starts out with a strong pop beat and pleading vocals, it sounds like, and then it picks up going into verse 2 and it becomes a little bit more passionate. The chorus is full of emotion and it sounds really good, especially the second time around. However, it does become kind of repetitive after a while. Then we have the song Homesick, which reverts back to the subject of his dad. It's very drum and vocal forward. I think this is about him basically saying like his dad is considered to be home to him and he's no longer around anymore, so he's just feeling homesick at the same time. And I really dislike the synth melody thing going into the chorus. Not a huge fan of it. I mean, it's got a decent sound, but I don't know. I like the lyrics a lot and the verses, but the chorus just really turned me off every time I heard it. I figured it would grow on me, but it absolutely did not. And I believe that Midnight Eternal takes place directly after his dad passes away, where it's just a very real moment where you're overwhelmed and engulfed with so many different emotions of fear, and it's just a very finite feeling because it's just over. It's done. There's no coming back. There's no replacing him. It's just done. And I really get the sense of that emotion from the song. I dig the melody and the lyrics really hit home. I just think that this song would have been better, and it's kind of weird to say this, if the drums never came in. I feel like it would have been better if it was just atmospheric, as it's just like in that moment, it's almost like time stands still, I feel like. So I feel like if they just didn't add the drums in, it would have really put you in that situation and in that emotion a lot more, in just a stronger way. And then we have the title track, Dark Sun. And if Midnight Eternal takes place right afterwards, I feel like Dark Sun takes place just before he passes away. I like that the guitar gives a little bit more of a layer behind the synth. I just wish it was stronger in the mix, just to give it a little bit more of a groove, just so we can hear a little bit more of a band. The chorus is basically just to build up into a synth melody instrumental thing, which was just okay. The lyrics are good, but I feel like it just relies a little bit too much on that synth. It isn't that great. It's not anything that I feel like we've never heard before. And again, I'd like to hear a little bit more from the band. Unfortunately, I feel like this is the part where the album really just starts to lose its momentum, especially with the song Quicksand. As I believe this song is kind of referring to depression, possibly. The vocal performance is fantastic, and if anything, it's what saves the song. Again, I wish the guitar part was turned up a little bit more. I'd really focus in and pay attention just to even hear if there was one. Chorus 2 does start to hit a little bit harder as it builds up the intensity, but I don't know, like it just feels like there's no climax. Like the final chorus, you get to it and you're expecting just this emotion, this powerful emotion to come through, and it just doesn't. And the song climaxes, but it just isn't that big. It isn't that extravagant. It isn't really anything. So it feels like the song doesn't really go anywhere. And unfortunately, I feel like that's the same kind of thing with the next song, Paper Heart, which I think is about being just overwhelmed by everything, like his work and his father passing away and just life in general. And he's kind of struggling with thoughts of suicide now, I think. The lyrics are fantastic and real. They hit very hard, but the music, it just doesn't feel like it's going anywhere until you get to the final chorus. So you basically spend the first 3 minutes of the song just kind of waiting for it to do something. You're Crying While You're Dancing, I believe, reverts back to his personal relationship where I feel like his partner left him, especially when he needed them the most. I think just from the lyrics that they're struggling with drinking and they weren't really, I don't know, present even when they were with him because of this. And they're also drinking to hide just everything that they're going through. And that's where we get the title from, Crying While You're Dancing. Looks like they're having a good time, enjoying life. But, I mean, there's tears behind all their happiness. Then we have the song Parallel, which I feel like this is where he kind of comes to terms with the loss of his father, or he's just trying to make sense of it. It gets really personal as he explains just real life things that happen to him. And he's kind of contemplating on, like, what if, I'm not entirely sure, but like, what if his father passed away and went to another parallel universe sort of thing, or like in a parallel universe, his father's still alive. And I believe he finds a lot of comfort in that, because when you have a loss like that, you just need to make sense, like why, you know? And I totally understand it. And the lyrics in this are fantastic and they hit pretty hard. Then we have the closing track, Afterglow, or Hazel's song, which is a song dedicated to his daughter. This song, it didn't really make sense to me, because the first 10 songs on this album are really sad and they're not about his daughter whatsoever. They're all about his dad and just stuff he's going through. So I figured this would be, like, I felt like Parallel would have been the closing track where he comes to terms with it. But I really like how he switches gears here. And I believe that his intention was to have this album basically be, like, start out and be focused on the sorrow when a loved one dies, but then it kind of changes gears and it ends with the celebration of a new life and how now he is a dad. And the chorus is a really good hook. Unfortunately, I feel like it's something we've already heard before. Like, I could hear Silverstein singing Into the Afterglow, and the lyrics in the verse are great, and you really get to see how much being a father really means to him, and it kind of grounds him, and it gives him hope in life after losing his father. And I feel like this is the only song really that hits hard in the emotion, and he really just opens up musically, I guess you could say, and it's a little bit more passionate thanks to the riff, and you could really hear the whole band in this one. And I feel like it's a great closing track. I just feel like leading up to it made it feel kind of confusing. Now, I enjoyed this album, just not as much as I thought I would, and not in the same way that I thought I would, because this is not post-hardcore. This is a synth pop album, and under that light, it's not really that bad. Like, it's the main takeaway from it are the lyrics. They're very vulnerable. They're very relatable to anybody who's ever been through this. They hit home, and the atmosphere in a lot of these songs really make you feel it. It also isn't really like the best synth pop album that there is. It's really short on diversity, so a lot of the songs start to feel pretty much the same. I was also waiting for just that explosion of passion that I feel like was missing, because when you go through something like this, I mean, we all handle it differently, but you just got a lot of stuff you just want to get out. And I feel like he wasn't getting it out, at least not how he really wanted to, or at least not in a way that I would expect. So, I mean, because when you're passionate about something, you get passionate. And I feel like this album was relatively calm. And because that kind of fell flat in terms of the emotion, Like, you hear it and it's really sad. It's just a very melancholy album. And when every song is like that and the music's kind of the same thing, it just doesn't feel like it goes too far, which is kind of sad considering the subject matter and the lyrics are there and they're good. It's just music wise, I mean, it sounds like we just have a vocalist and a computer making all the sound. The full band, I feel like, would have been able to pull that out a little bit more. And I know a lot of people are going to want like breakdowns and stuff like that, especially if you listen to their older stuff. A breakdown isn't even necessary. I just want someone to just like grab you by the shirt and just tell you how sad they are, you know, how much this hurts. And I feel like we didn't get that. So with all that said, I gotta give Dark Sun by Dayseeker a 6.2 out of 10. But I want to know what you guys think. I know this is probably going to be a pretty polarizing album, given the fact that people are going into it thinking it's post-hardcore, but it's actually a lot stronger synth pop album, which is something that I kind of predicted anyways. So yeah, leave a comment below letting me know what you thought of Dark Sun. Let me know what your favorite song is. Let me know what you would rate it. And if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to give it a like. If you want to help support me and my channel, please consider subscribing and ringing the bell icon. And while you're down there letting me know what you thought of the album, also let me know what you want me to review next. And I just thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day to listen to me talk about music. And even if you hated it and you leave a dislike, thank you so much. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day or night whenever you happen to be watching this. And I will talk to you guys next time.
I was trying to make it relying on my parents said to save me.